At sunrise, the Colosseum was already awake. Its vast arches caught the first pale light of day, while the blood from yesterday's spectacles still clung to the stone like a lingering shadow. Beneath the towering stands, vendors shouted over one another, baskets heavy with olives and watered wine, preparing for crowds that had not yet arrived. Below the iron gates, handlers shoved half-starved predators into position, lions with ribs pressing through their fur, panthers slashing at cage bars, elephants stamping in confusion and rage. From the tunnels echoed the sharp clang of steel, not the sound of training, but the testing of weapons meant to kill. Above it all, a low murmur rose into a roar. Tens of thousands of Romans flooded in, hungry for the one thing their empire perfected better than conquest itself: death reshaped as entertainment. The Roman arena was never just sport. It was a laboratory of cruelty. Emperors flooded sand with seawater to stage mock naval battles, starved animals to heighten suspense, and forced prisoners to reenact myths that ended with real corpses. None of this was accidental. It was deliberate. Policy, spectacle, and power fused into one. The cheers were not harmless. They were loyalty made audible. Here on Hidden Secret Tales, we step into that shadow. These are the most brutal and inhumane arena spectacles that went too far, so extreme that even Romans themselves recoiled. From blood-soaked funeral rites to executions disguised as theater, this is how an empire transformed suffering into applause. Take your seat. The gates are opening. Rome's first gladiatorial combat did not begin with emperors or golden crowns. It began at a funeral. In 264 BC, the sons of Decimus Junius Brutus Pera honored their father not with prayers, but with blood. 3 pairs of enslaved men were forced to fight to the death in the Forum Boarium, a cattle market thick with smoke and decay. This was not entertainment. It was obligation. A munus, a duty owed to the dead. The tradition came from older cultures. In Campania and among the Samnites, warriors were sacrificed at graves to appease restless spirits. Over time, sacrifice evolved into combat. The dead no longer demanded random victims, but ritualized violence between chosen men. Rome embraced it eagerly. Burying a man with gold showed wealth. Burying him with blood showed power. By the 3rd century BC, Rome's leaders realized these combats could do more than honor the dead. They could stabilize politics. Gladiators appeared during religious festivals, framed as acts of devotion. But the truth was clear: violence funded by the state, designed to distract and control. Armor itself became propaganda. Fighters wore the gear of conquered enemies, Samnites, Thracians, Gauls, replaying Roman victories in flesh and steel. As blood flowed, arenas grew. Temporary wooden stands became permanent stone amphitheaters. What began as private tribute became public policy. The games now belonged to the state, and each death carried the same message: Rome ruled not only men, but fate itself. The crowd did not only hunger for human blood, they demanded beasts hauled from the edges of the world: lions from North Africa, leopards from the Caucasus, crocodiles from the Nile. These were not marvels of nature, they were prey. Romans called these spectacles vinetones, huts. They were not contests of survival, but demonstrations of domination. When the Colosseum opened in AD 80, Emperor Titus reportedly oversaw the slaughter of more than 9,000 animals. Archaeological remains show signs of deliberate starvation, ensuring desperation and violence. Even elephants, once the terror of Roman legions, were butchered for cheers. Each carcass was a souvenir of conquest. Emperor Commodus took this further, dressing as Hercules and slaughtering crippled animals from a safe platform. The hunts were rigged. The applause was mandatory. Behind the spectacle, extinction followed. Pliny the Elder warned that Rome's appetite was emptying forests and silencing roars forever. Species vanished, not through necessity, but for spectacle. Gladiatorial combat was never fair. Rome perfected imbalance. Fighters were matched not for equality, but for drama. Net versus sword, speed versus armor. Prisoners were sent into the sand with wooden weapons, facing trained killers. Execution masqueraded as sport. Women were not spared. Female gladiators fought for spectacle, mocked even as they bled. Helmets restricted vision, armor exhausted bodies. The arena turned protection into punishment. Every fight was calculated. The Colosseum never allowed repetition. It constantly invented new cruelties to keep the crowd shocked and obedient. By midday, the arena shifted. Combat gave way to execution. Condemned criminals, noxii, were forced into scripted deaths called damnatio ad bestias. Their crimes were announced, their punishments matched symbolically. Thieves torn apart, arsonists burned alive, traitors fed to lions. During Emperor Trajan's games, thousands of captives were slaughtered over 123 days. Myths were reenacted with real suffering. Orpheus mauled by beasts, Prometheus chained as birds tore flesh. Death became theater. Crucifixions occurred openly. Victims burned in pitch-soaked tunics, the tunica molesta, screaming as living torches. Seneca warned that watching these deaths hardened the soul. His words vanished beneath applause. Rome was not content with sand. It demanded oceans. Mock naval battles, naukimachiae, were staged using real ships and real prisoners. Julius Caesar flooded massive basins. Augustus built aqueducts solely to supply them. Thousands died drowning or burning. When captives saluted Emperor Claudius with the words, "Those who are about to die salute you," history recorded resignation made ritual. The empire bent water, fire, and flesh into weapons. Executions grew more theatrical. Victims reenacted legends only to die brutally. Daedalus falling to beasts, Orpheus torn apart mid-song. Pasiphae's myth was turned into public degradation. Rome did not merely kill, it humiliated. Culture itself became a tool of terror. Some emperors lost restraint entirely. Caligula ordered spectators dragged into the arena when animals ran short. Nero staged executions as personal art. Commodus billed the treasury for his rigged performances, forcing applause at sword point. Even respected emperors like Trajan fed the machine, proving that cruelty was systemic, not personal madness. Those who ruled through spectacle often died by violence themselves. Not all Romans cheered. Philosophers warned of moral decay. Christians saw the arena as proof of corruption. Tertullian called the games seeds of cruelty. Juvenal mocked a society addicted to bread and circuses. By the late Empire, the cost became unbearable. As borders cracked and faith shifted, the arenas fell silent. By the 5th century, the Colosseum stood hollow. Today, the Colosseum still stands. Its stone invites admiration, but honesty demands memory. These arenas were not monuments to courage, but to control. They trained citizens to obey, to laugh at pain, to mistake cruelty for glory. That is the warning carved into Rome's ruins. A civilization that turns suffering into entertainment eventually collapses beneath its own applause. So tell us, which spectacle reveals Rome's darkest soul? The hunts, the living torches, or emperors drunk on blood? Share your thoughts below. And if this journey through history's shadow stayed with you, subscribe to